centering breath. So hands on heart and belly. Okay. So interesting what you were saying, Stacey, about this. When you bring your hand onto your belly, there's a tendency for the belly to start to relax with that touch. The hand on the heart center, the center part here, has got a huge impact on the body, the physical body. This is called a mammalian response, and it's something that all mammals have. So if you release the belly and bring both hands here. So this takes us back to childhood when we're being held at our mother's breast, or when we're being held. So this is a very old response from babyhood about feeling soothed and comforted by being at our mother's breast. And all mammals apparently have that. So the feeling that you have when you do this is one of comfort and soothing. Mm. So we can use this in yoga class and yoga teaching, but even more important, we can do this to ourselves because we're not taught how to soothe ourselves. Most of us are not taught in our families, oh, this is what you do to soothe yourself. You just learn from your parents who go for a drink or something like that, or get angry or whatever. We're picking up on what we learn from our family, and it's really, oh honey, this is what you need to do. You need to soothe yourself by bringing your hand here and the other hand here. We do learn when our mum comes to cuddle us and hold us, of course, but she doesn't tell us how to do it for ourselves later on. So we then look for other people to do that holding and caring for us as well. But we can do this for ourselves. Think of it, you could think of it as you as a baby, and you would be here, right? And this would, you become your mother, and this you as the baby is here. That's one way of adding,
or the other way around.
Or the other way around. You as a mother bringing your baby here.
Well, see, that's how I was experiencing it. But then when you were talking about it in terms of children, I didn't know how it would connect for a child because hadn't been a mother. For me, the experience is, this is me holding a baby to my chest.
I haven't been a mother, so I relate more to my own baby experience. So it's interesting. So maybe from a mother's perspective, you feel it this, and from a baby's perspective, you.
Is there a certain chakra here, or?
Oh, it's a heart chakra.
Then there you go.
Yeah. And just above it is the throat chakra, which is how you voice what comes from your heart.
So that and skin-to-skin contact.
Yeah. So I also haven't been a mother, but I appreciate having like pressure secure, like on like this area.
I don't never thought about it.
That, where it's like the weight of the stomach.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's the belly as well. So when it comes to yoga breath, when you're teaching it or doing it, this covers both things. It feels really comforting and supportive to be able to then start to breathe.
Thank you. I didn't mean to be, I just wasn't making the connection to the, I mean, it is completely relaxing for me to do this or to do that, but I wasn't understanding the connection that you were making as a child. So, thank you.
Baby or mother, whichever works.
Could I just say something? You know, like when we are babies, when we're in our mom's belly, and then so we listen to their heartbeat, right? And then when we are out, that's one of the reasons why we put the babies here. So, they're close to our skin, so there is touch, that contact, but also they listen to the sound of our heart, and that puts them back in our in the tummy.
Yes.
So I think that sensation, it's not like a baby connecting with the mom, but it's us connecting with the heart and bringing us back to when we were babies with our moms and in our belly. I think
we're connecting to ourselves. And the other aspect is this stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. Kyle mentioned that this morning, and Linda always comes back to that as well. So the relaxation response can start in the body. And there's a lot of, there's recent research on the vagus nerve and vagal tone. So this is my layman version of what it is. Here, there's a lot of vagal nerve endings around the gut and the diaphragm. So the center of our body, lots of the nerve endings there. So when we come to do our diaphragmatic breath, the way that I interpret it is, as far as yoga is concerned, is there's a lot of stimulus on those vagal nerves there. And the more stimulation the vagus nerve has, it impacts the heart rate and the health of most of the organs in the body. But it's really important for relaxation as well, and antidepressant is what they're talking about now too. So there's lots of goodness in this sort of coming to yoga breath that's verified by science now. So, and of course we have the energy centers in our hands that we've discovered as well. So 3 ways to bring people into the present moment and begin to relax. Okay. So let's do one. So everybody sitting up with a long spine. Let those shoulders, perhaps raise them and then just drop them away from the ears. Allow the belly to soften and relax, and bring a hand to the belly and another above the heart center. And just take a moment to sense your touch here. Bring awareness to the breath, noticing your rhythm, and we'll come into our centering yoga breath. On the next inhale, allow the belly to expand as the lungs fill with air. And on the exhale, releasing the air, let the belly come back towards the spine. Inhale, expansion, and exhale, release. Find the rhythm that works for you, yoga breath. To teach you Dirga breath, 3-part breath. Okay, Dirga, D-I-R-G-H-A, Dirga breath. Because of time constraints, I'm just going to teach and explain it and then teach it to you. And you're getting into the swing of teaching a fairly simple breath practice with someone else. So I feel confident that you would be able to teach this with somebody as well. And then I want to make sure that we get to alternate nostril breathing practice and teaching. So we'll make sure we've got time for that today. So 3-part breath. When we come to doing 3-part breath, we're really using the whole capacity of the lungs. And one way of imagining it is to think of a vessel. Think of your whole body as a vessel. As you take the inhale, imagining the inhale coming all the way down to the bottom of the vessel, which would be the belly, and then topping up through the middle part, the ribs, and then all the way up, a 3rd part up into the clavicle, into the shoulders. So we're actually using the whole capacity of the lungs here. And when you do this, you might notice how awkward it is when you come up to this part, the higher lobes of the lungs. Because unless we're stressed or runners, we rarely get to use these parts of the lungs. So let's explore it right now, okay? Let's bring a hand to the belly and a hand above the heart. Find that nice length in the spine. Always keeping that length here, allow the belly to soften. And just take a few full breaths, just to move that energy. And coming into Dirga breath, 3-part breath. On the next inhale, deep inhale, imagine filling the lower part of the vessel and then topping up through the ribs and then up into your shoulders. And then exhale, releasing from the top through the center, all the way emptying to the bottom. Inhale, filling the vessel at the base, top it up through the center and up in behind your clavicles. And then exhale, releasing from the top through the center, emptying the base. Keep going. Allow the ribs to open, the spine to open. And on the exhale, releasing back down. We'll do 2 more. This is moving energy. So big inhale, all the way down to the base, using the full capacity of the lungs. It's really good, a good way of starting to energize people in a room without them having to stand up and do anything, because we're really using the prana, the breath, moving in that way. How did it feel for you to do 3-part breath?
Are you taking a pause as you breathe, or is it really more just kind of guided?
As you learn it, you tend to pause because you go bottom, middle, top. Mm-hmm. But it's really much more expansion. It begins to become more fluid once you understand what it it feels like. Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's an energizing practice rather than the calming practice that we did beforehand at the very beginning. Any questions around that? Good. So one thing about the more practice that you do of pranayama, particularly the active practice, like this is an active one, yoga breath, you start to increase your capacity to use your lungs more fully. And when I did the 100 hours of pranayama at Kripalu, my bra strap couldn't connect at the back towards the end of the week because my rib cages had expanded. And the teacher there, she takes in her breath and her ribs literally go like that. It's like like an amphibian beast. Whoa! Yeah, it's pretty cool. So you can increase your capacity to breathing through pranayama practices.
So that would help people with asthma or COPD or something like that?
Yes. The ones that I'm showing you today are actually fairly gentle practices. There are more advanced pranayama practices which actually really do change the chemistry in your head and can actually aggravate and bring on some anxiety in the body. But we're not going to be doing that in the 200 hours. If I do a pranayama workshop, we might explore that. But no, it's not something that you would share with beginners until they have the capacity in the lungs and awareness of the breath. Okay. I mean, even in India, the most guys who do the advanced pranayama, you could go on YouTube and see them. They've usually got somebody next to them just in case they keel over as they're doing it. Okay. Nadi Shodhana. I love Nadi Shodhana. Alternate nostril breathing.
I like the way you say that.
Nadi Shodhana. Nadi Shodhana, it's good. Nadi Shodhana. So alternate nostril breathing. This is connecting to the nadis, the pingala and the ida of the nostrils, alternate nostrils, and alternate parts of the brain. So they correspond with the brain as well. So when we do alternate nostril practice, we start to rebalance the energy channels and also the brain as well, as far as what's going on in the brain. So it's a very balancing practice. It becomes more meditative because the breath is soft. We're not focusing on the diaphragm. You don't need to do the diaphragmatic breath. It becomes more of a meditation of what's going on at the nose. The contraindications are if you do have allergies or if you have a deviated septum and the breath is not easy on both sides of the nostrils, then what they found is that even if you just imagine you're doing it, it actually has that calming effect to the brain. So don't be concerned if it's not easy on one side and it's not perfect. Okay. So coming into Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. So the hand mudra, which is hand posture in yoga, is Vishnu mudra. We use the right thumb and the forefinger, the ring finger. The two fingers in the middle can either rest on the center. Don't squeeze your nose and talk at the same time. Can either rest at the center or just be folded. So coming into Nadi Shodhana, we have the
Clear them out, sorry.
That's okay. You know what? Does anybody else need to blow their nose right now? That was really important from a yoga teacher perspective. I forgot to say blow your nose. Yeah. So the thumb goes on the right nostril, gently closes it, and we breathe up through the left nostril first, close the left nostril with the fourth finger, open the right, and then breathe down the right side of the mountain. Inhale up the right side, close, and exhale left. Inhale left, close, exhale right. Inhale right, close, exhale left. Close your eyes. So you inhale the same side as the exhale, and then go down the other side. And see if you can soften the breath so you can barely feel it on your upper lip.